Hey, what are you going to do when you grow up? Me, I'm going to talk on the radio. It's 8:32 in the Calumet region. And you know what that means? It is the second Monday or the first Monday? Second Monday of each of the month. And that means it's the city of East Chicago. How do you say it, Damien Rico?
East Chicago.
No, you don't.
I know. East Chicago.
If he went over on Main Street and called it East Chicago, they'd throw you right out.
Same thing with the harbor. When you say you're from the harbor, it's always the harbor. They ask you where you're from. It's not East Chicago. It's the harbor if you're from the harbor.
What if you're from the South Side? Then you still say
East
Chicago.
South Side. South Side.
Yeah.
What part of East Chicago are you from, Kenny?
From the harbor.
From the harbor?
Yep.
No, wait a second. You didn't say the harbor. You said the harbor.
Well, that's talking home. If you want me to be polite, harbor.
I want you to say it how you would normally say it. The harbor.
Harbor. I'm from
Okay, I'm going to put that on my list. Is that okay?
Yeah.
The harbor. It's not the harbor usually. It's usually a the.
It's just harbor. I'm from the harbor.
From the harbor. Like it, kind of like barber.
Right.
Harbor. There you go. Kenny Monroe in here, Parks and Recreation, along with Toshiba. Toshiba, what's your last name?
Thomas.
Toshiba Thomas. All right, let me turn the music off. There it is. Every so often you come in, what, like twice a month?
Twice
right?
a month.
Yeah, we come in and we talk about what's going on in East Chicago. That's Chicago. And today you got a couple people from the parks. Since I already said who they are, why don't you reintroduce them so we could just go through it?
Sure, we got our park superintendent, Kenny Monroe, and Toshiba Thomas, who's a little bit of everything. She says she's a secretary, but she's a little bit of everything down there at the park.
You ever meet anybody else named Toshiba?
No.
Not one time in your entire life.
No.
So it's a unique name.
Mm-hmm.
You ever meet anybody named Kenny?
Oh, bunch.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
Too many.
Hey, half the harbor
Yes.
is named Kenny.
Too many.
I went over there with Kenny. Well, which Kenny?
Which Kenny? You're
That's right. 219-845-1100. We're in here. We're talking East Chicago. Now, wait a second. Chicago has a taste of Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And East Chicago has what?
Taste of East Chicago.
East Chicago.
Okay, let's put that on the board because we're going to get to that. But schools are starting.
Schools are starting. We got registration for all schools held actually starting today all the way till Friday. And they can register at Central High School or Franklin Academy. We got some dates and some times. Monday, that's today, from 8 to noon. And that's at Central or Franklin. Tuesday, 8 to noon at Central or Franklin. Wednesday, 3 to 7. Thursday, 3 to 7, and Friday 8 to noon, and both those are all those days are going to be at Central High School or Franklin Academy. And then they're just reminding everybody to bring their verification. They need proof of residency. 3 are required, so they can use utility bills, water bills, Indiana driver's license with current address, car registration with current address, state ID, current address, current check stubs or employer current address, printout of public aid, Medicaid, printout for Social Security benefits, original copy of the lease. So that's registration at East Chicago today. Central High School and at Franklin Academy.
Now, I think in the past, like if you did this 10 years ago and you went in there and you say, hey, Herbie, how are you? And they say, hey, Joe and Mary, you're doing fine. You're bringing your kids in. All right, well, just sign this. It's not like that. You got to have that stuff now because so many people from Illinois want to come over and go to school.
Right.
And they're not going to cut you any slack.
Right, and I think it's also required from the state. They're a little more strict now with the educational school system. Make sure everybody's signed up
and I found that out actually firsthand by taking one of my nieces in to get her going on school, and the local school district sent me home twice. So they can go to this. They can go to the website and see what these things are, right? What the possibilities are. Or
right, that's www.ecps.org.
ecps.org, and I'll just say that if we save one parent the hassle of having to go back and forth for a water bill or so forth, you can't just go in there with your license. You got to have some other stuff. And they want to just make sure that you live there in East Chicago, and rightfully so, because there's a lot of solid schools in EC, and kids want to go there from, parents want to put them in there from other schools and kind of sneak them in, so that's why they're doing it. So, all right, so what else going on in East Chicago? So we said we talk about Taste of East Chicago. When is it?
Taste of East Chicago
It's August 21st and 22nd.
Okay, I'm going to move you up to that microphone a little bit. There you go. This
It's
is
August.
Toshiba Thomas. August.
21st and 22nd. 12 to 11 p.m. both days.
Okay, hold on. 12 to 11 p.m. And that is Saturday and Sunday?
Saturday and Sunday.
21st and 22nd? 21 and 22. And what are you going to have there?
We'll have food vendors, arts and crafts, live music, bands, Alpine Carnival, and bingo for the senior citizens.
All right, you got my tweaked everybody's Alpine Carnival. What is that?
That's just the name of the company.
That's
Oh,
the name of
so
the
they're going to have
carnival.
rides.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Tilt-a-whirl. What do you call the Zephyr? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
All those things that just don't eat corn on the cob and go up there with extra butter on it. There you go. So that's 12 to 11 p.m. And where's it at?
It's going to be held at Veterans Park,
And tell people where that is.
145th and Indianapolis Boulevard.
145th and Indianapolis Boulevard, basically behind City Hall.
City
Right,
Right next
City
to
Hall
City
Park.
Hall.
Yeah, let's call it behind City Hall because I think a lot of people don't they
Can identify it.
Yeah, they identify with City Hall. Did they move the Vietnam Memorial thing out into that park?
Right, Veterans Park. That's where it's all at. They're going to be. It's going to actually set plans to display a whole Veterans Memorial coming up in the near future over there at the park. It's going to be really, really nice. That's where they have the. We just had the Vietnam rededication back in November, which was held at Veterans Park. Really nice display.
Kenny, Toshiba, and Damien in the house right now from the East Chicago Parks and the City of East Chicago and so forth. I'm talking about Taste of East Chicago. How many years on this?
This is our 6th year.
6th year?
Yes.
And how's it been going?
It's growing each year. It's growing each year as far as with vendors, bigger carnivals, and better talent.
What kind of music?
We have a group called Together.
Together? When's Together playing? Toshiba?
Sunday night.
Just-
Sunday night, 7 to 10:30
Together is 7 to 10:30 on
on
Sunday night. And that is, you know how many people driving around going, oh, dude, I'll go see Together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
7 to 10, yeah, that's kind of cool. 7 to 10, 10:30, something like that. And who else you got?
We have our Saturday lineup will be Say Yes. They're from 3 to 6. We have New Orleans Boo and the Big Easy Band. They're from 7 to 10:30. And on Sunday we have Funky Mojo Daddy.
Hold on a second. New Orleans Boo
Mm-hmm.
and what?
And the Big Easy Band.
And the Big Easy Band. And all right, I want to write this down because somebody's going to ask me. All right, what do you got on Sunday?
On Sunday we have Funky Mojo Daddy. They're from 3 to 6.
Now they've played before
They played
in East
before,
Chicago.
Yes,
yeah.
they're real good.
Is there any way that we can get in touch with them and get Funky Mojo Daddy to give us a call to promote this? Just because I love
we
that
have
name.
a number. We'll Toshiba will call to see if it's okay to forward their number, and I'm quite sure it'd be no problem.
Yeah. Now, does anybody know the lead singer from Funky Mojo Daddy?
I think it's funky.
Is it Funky? Watch yourself. But Funky Mojo Daddy. I mean, somebody had to think of that, and that is
Right.
a cool name.
No.
It is.
For a band. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter what kind of music they play.
It's just nice,
It's
huh?
just a nice name. All right, 3 to 6, and then what do you got?
And then together will be 7 to 10:30.
So you got four bands,
Yeah, two each
2 on
night.
each day.
and at 7 to 10:30, and they'll follow Funky Mojo Daddy. And I love it, man. It's kind of like a music fest then.
Yes, yes. Music fest and also eating fest, and the carnivals for the kids.
Okay,
And
parking.
Parking. We usually block off of the side streets, and Centier Bank let us use their lot, and we also use City Hall lot.
City Hall, Centier, and the side streets
Yes.
going to the side
Yeah.
streets to the north.
Yes. Now we'll also be using the entrance of City Hall across the street where we had cleared that area out for another thing that we're going to do, but we're going to use that as for parking.
Okay, and also across the park there's that center.
Right.
What's the name of that?
That's Heritage
Heritage
Hall.
Hall.
That's
Heritage
parking
Hall.
there too.
Yeah, and there's parking at Heritage Hall
Yes.
also. Kind of swings around there.
Mhm.
And so where's the stage set up?
Stage is set up right on Indianapolis Boulevard by the gazebo.
Right by the gazebo. There.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
She also, something been growing. She has a motorcycle and the car show that's been growing rapidly.
Motorcycle and car show. What day is that on?
The car show will be held on Saturday, and the motorcycle show will be held on Sunday.
Car show is Saturday, and if somebody wants to get their car, or bike in there, how do they do that?
They can just show up that day and register.
Register. You know how much?
It's free registration.
Free registration. Cool. 219-845-1100. If you got any questions about Taste of Chicago or entering it or anything like that, give us a call. Or if you want to be a vendor. Now, what kind of vendors?
We have, as far as food, we
Yeah.
have food, barbecue, we have Chinese, we have Mexican, Puerto Rican, we have Miss B's Italian ice, we have Burr Limited ice cream,
Fish.
Pepe's, yeah, fish, just
Gotta
a
have
little
some
bit of
fish.
everything.
You're going to have a little, like a catfish sandwich on like a
Yeah.
95-degree day.
It's a little
there.
bit of everything that's going to be out there. All type of foods, because we're serving so many different types of people in Chicago.
So how many years you been with the park?
7.
7 years?
Mm-hmm.
And which high school did you go to?
The best, Washington.
Why do you say that's the best high school?
Because I went there.
You know, it's so funny. You ask him, an old-time EC guy,
Right.
where they went to high school, and a lot of times it's almost in the front. You know, like a guy would be like, dude, I went to Roosevelt. I didn't
Uh-huh.
even think of going to Washington.
Right.
Even though I lived right on the line.
Uh-huh.
If they would have lived across the street, I don't know what would have happened to me. I would have had to go to Washington.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not a front. I'm just, so what year did you go there?
And I graduated in 70.
You graduated in 70,
Mm-hmm.
so you were there when the year before they won the
Right
state
before they
championship.
won state, and the year when Bradley won, 70. And then Roosevelt won in 70, Washington won in 71.
Roosevelt won in 70.
Washington 71.
And so you would have had to listen to all of the Roosevelt people brag about that for like a year until you finally
Yes,
won
one
the
year.
following year.
Yes. And plus they had to hear about it because they beat us in the championship game.
Of the section.
Yes.
And that would have been in 1970, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that would have been in
Uh-huh.
70 when they won.
Yes.
They beat Washington.
And believe it or not, at that time, we were 1 and 2 in the state.
And was it a close game?
We lost by 3 in the sections.
They lost by 3 in the sectional, so it was a close game.
Mm-hmm.
So there's got to be some senior who graduated from Washington
Mhm.
that is saying that if indeed
If.
we could have beaten them, and I can't believe that ref made that traveling call late in the
Right.
fourth quarter. Otherwise, it would have been Washington back to back.
Yeah, prime
rather than-
scenario is Floyd Williams had the last shot and he kind of got fouled, and they didn't call it.
See, that didn't take long, did it?
It's probably a 3-point shot before the 3-point.
Yeah.
Floyd Williams had the last shot,
Yeah, well, we lost by 2 because Floyd would have tied. We could have won in overtime.
and he
But-
got fouled.
And he got fouled. I'm not going to say the player that fouled him, but
Why
he
not?
got fouled.
You know how many guys know the
I'll
answer
tell you
to
who
that?
fouled him, Mike Artis.